Welcome to What the Biz, where we talk about building successful businesses, balancing life, and all the WTB in between. With your hosts,
I'm Brigitte Vegter.
And I'm Dan Proczko.
Yo, what's up with the biz? Back for another week, another awesome episode. We are diving into SEO, AI. How do you get into those AI citations? A lot changing in the ecosystem right now. I mean, almost 50% of all searches have got an AI overview on them. And we're learning some crazy stuff about what it means to rank in the top 10 and what it doesn't mean anymore. And you really got to know all about it. And we're going to give you some practical application today. So stay into the end because there's some awesome details coming through. But like always, I am going to introduce Brigitte Vegter, my co-host. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Although I was asking at the beginning, is it really only Wednesday? Like we're like, is that really the day we're on? I don't know. Like, I feel like we're in the like depths of, into Q2 and just things are happening.
Yeah.
The year's flying by. I don't know if you feel that way.
That's what I feel. I'm feeling like this year disappeared. Like we're already, I mean, I know it's April. Well, it's May basically, but I feel like we're recording at the end of April. This is going to come out in May, but I feel like we're 6 months in already. It doesn't matter that it's May. It's like we're halfway done through the year. And I'll tell you, I don't feel like I'm on top of my goals right now, but but I think there's just a lot of planning. A lot of stuff is happening. I mean, we've launched that course. We're working on another one and then a relaunch of that. We've got a new service, not a new service, but we're putting some real effort behind a certain service around AI and SEO as well. So like there's a lot of stuff in the works. It's just like it's got to come to fruition is where it just hasn't not fully. I mean, stuff's out there, but it's like the repeat, the learnings, the making it bigger. So yeah, I think it's just the normal trend of things, but I'm an A-type entrepreneur who just wants it now,
Yes.
So that's
it's
where I'm
like
impatient.
The waiting impatience, right? Like we're doing all of these things, but it feels like we're not doing anything while we're doing so much.
Exactly.
And then you bring topics like this with like all the AI and SEO, and it's like, oh, let me add that to the list of things that I also need to focus and worry about.
Yeah. To this point, you've been talking a lot about Claude with me in the background and how much you've been using. And I finally jumped in and started using it on a free tier to test this out, et cetera. And I got to tell you, I think I might be a convert. I think I'm going to jump like headlong, dive right in, team plan, all the way up to enterprise. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going like crazy like that. But it works so differently than other AIs I've been on. And I'm impressed. Like it's really good at understanding context, staying on point, not hallucinating, but being thorough. And like having used Gemini so much, Gemini is great at certain things. Okay. Like it really is. Like if I want to do some deep research and I want to get sources to give me like a base for something to learn something, it's perfect. It helps summarize and gives me that research. But then I could use that in a Claude, give it some context, and it's going to just really help streamline certain processes and thoughts and thinking. And holy cow, that's all I got to say. I think I'm a full-on convert. It's crazy.
I was and didn't think I would be. It has been changing for me in my business. Like I'm one of those entrepreneurs that wakes up every morning with like all these ideas, knowing I'll never be able to like formulate or get them anywhere. I do a morning brain dump into Claude. Like I have a project that's just like, here's everything between like yesterday and now that has like come up in my brain, organize this, like keep this in like some sort of like, bucket so that if I ever want to come back to it, I have like this history of like what was going through my brain. And I love it. Like I'm working on new dashboards for our clients that just pull out very key, like business changing metrics and like a very easy to understand. And like, here's your Claude has been amazing with kind of formulating, thoughts and the way that I look at reports and advise our clients. So I love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm so looking forward to diving a little deeper, seeing what I can gain in efficiency and impact. So yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I think from there, why don't we jump in? Because we're going all in on AI today a bit, but it's more about like that battle between AI and SEO. And like I shared at the top of the episode, Google's this is coming from Search Engine Journal, searchenginejournal.com. Google's AI overviews now appear in 48% of all searches, and which is a 58% increase in just 1 year. So basically it was really just 30% of all searches. And now we've jumped all the way up to almost 50%, which is insane. And this has birthed the zero visit visibility. To put some context around this, for listeners, if you're not steeped in this like I am, basically with search, it was all about the click, showing up in the top 10 results, getting that click, people come to your site, and that's the value of search. Well, there's been the thing called zero click for a while, which means that, Google did the snippets, where they tried to pull answers from websites, or they put like a cooking process or something down, and you never had to click over to another website. Or if you wanted like the weather or stock ticker information, they would just show it to you, so you wouldn't have to go anywhere. But that's all pulled from a website.
So you're talking about like that top little section that shows up, like that's what you're okay.
Yeah, that little thing at the top that now is the AI overview, but used to be like that little snippet where it would give the information without having to go to a website. That's known as a zero click. You get this citation on search, but nobody has to click to get to the information. And now it's kind of on steroids, because AI, it doesn't even present it as like this is coming from a website. It's like natural language written with like this little tiny link or like a footnote of where it's from. And so almost 50% of searches are now based this way. And what's crazy about this article from Search Engine Journal that we were talking about before, and what I alluded to, is that the articles getting cited in that overview aren't even in the top 10. Many of them are not in the top 10 results of the organic Google search page. So
that's mind-blowing to me, by the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it begs the question, and I think you asked me this before, was just like, does it matter? Like, should we still be pushing for the top 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and for me, the answer is still yes, but before I get into like how that all happens, I mean, I think what's really going on here is that AI has really shined a light on what's known as fluff content, where the way we write, we don't want to get right to the answer because we want to keep people for a while. So we like bury it at the end of a paragraph or at the end of a section, and we don't put it up front, et cetera. And so there's all this fluff around what the answer really is. I mean, think about when somebody asks you, how much does it cost for accounting services? Or how much does it cost for marketing services? We always say, well, it depends. Like, that's not true, actually. There is an answer. And so I think AI has really just shined a light on all of that right now.
I will say it does. Hold on. It does depend. Let's hold on a second. There's a range, right? Like just like your services, there is a range. So but I am curious. So like there was a time when people were spending the time to read articles, right? Like I almost think this is like I would call this maybe a bad part of AI. We've lost the desire to actually like fully read things. We are looking for what are my key takeaways, and that what you were just talking about, like that AI snippet is doing it. So are you saying that like the typical way of writing, like how people historically wrote blogs, is kind of just an art no longer that is being perused the same way? Like I'm thinking about myself. Like, when's the last time I went and read an entire blog? I used to.
Right now, I can take that link and put it in AI and just get the summary. But that's kind of exactly what I'm saying. And it's not so much that I think people will still read and will still consume valuable content. I think that's true no matter what. But if we make it difficult to get to that value, do we really want to stick around and push through? Like I feel like there's TV shows, and I think about this about TV shows. I couldn't get through Breaking Bad, and people look at me like I'm crazy. But it was made for a different style and era of TV that's slower. And they all tell me, oh, you got to get through season 4. Like that's when or season 3, that's when it just starts getting, and I'm like, guys, this is an era where there were 20 some episodes a season. And you want me to get through 3, meaning I got to sit through 60, 70 episodes just to get to the good stuff. Do I want to do that? You know, like that's where my brain goes. And so I think that's the same thing happening, is that when we write articles in a fluffy way, meaning that we don't put the value up front, people don't feel that pull to stick around and understand it. And really, that's what AI wants. 1, because it can more easily understand things. But 2, people need that, because we have shorter attention spans. We just do. We don't have that motivation to stick around. So I if you're up for it, Brigitte, I want to give some tips here on like exactly like if we're going to be writing content, here's how we should be writing that content.
1,000,000%.
Cool. Have you ever heard of the pyramid style of writing?
I've heard of it, but let's do a recap.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what it was called either, by the way. But it's kind of how journalists write. Really, the way we should be writing articles is like journalists, in something called the pyramid style. Basically, what it means is we put the answer or the data first. So it's the first sentence of a paragraph. It's the first sentence of the whole article. It's always first. And then what we do is we then provide either more data or context to what it means afterwards. So if somebody asks, how much does marketing services cost? We don't put in an answer like, well, it depends on what service you're going to offer, and then what size of your business and how much you can spend on advertising. That's like tedious and really hard for somebody to pick through and understand what it costs. But to your point, Brigitte, like you said earlier, there's a range. And so we can say it's typical for small businesses of this size to spend between X and X per year on average. That is a definitive answer that someone can read and get a sense of, oh, that I'm that size business, or I'm at the lower end of this business or of this range, or I'm at the higher end of this range, et cetera, and get a sense of what that means. And then after that, we can say, here's everything that goes into that range and how we calculate that pricing, et cetera.
That makes sense.
That's really, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like the key first way we have to start writing. And it's not natural. Because
I was going to say, were we taught this way? Because I don't feel like we were taught this way. We were taught to do like a huge essay with like very structured paragraphs and not give the answer. You're supposed to lead into all of that. So this
exactly.
My brain is like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, it's like what that topic sentence of every paragraph that's supposed to set the stage, and then you put in like the supporting content, and then you end with a conclusion. You have to basically reverse that. Wow. Entirely. Yeah, which is a totally different type of thinking. And then the second thing with that, to get AI to cite you or to better understand your content, and I think obviously to get people to read longer, with everything, is we need more first-party data, meaning that we need to have our own information that we are collecting and compiling, that we're not just going out and finding reports and citing them. We've got CRMs, we've got, client rosters, we've got point of sale systems. We've got our email marketing platforms. We've got, survey tools. We got all of this, our social media following. We have so much data, we can look at, that we can put together our own conclusions and put that data into our content. And that becomes unique to us that no one else has. And that is something that is it's more valuable than gold when it comes to online. When you can have your own data and compile things and put them in, that is seen as something so unique that search engines and AI reward you for that, for having that in.
So you're saying to use our brain and our expertise and put it in our words to put it out there? Is this
yeah.
Like this kind of falls back into the AI slop, or just kind of what we're seeing as a trend, right? That we've talked about in other episodes, that people are tired of just AI formulated information, and like they want us to go back to our knowledge, our expertise. What are we bringing? And it like I think what you're bringing here is proof that that is what is getting rewarded, and proof is that like that's how you're going to start ranking.
100%.
Why did we leave the basics? Because it got easy for a minute, right?
It did. No, exactly. That's exactly what it was. Got easy for a minute, and now with AI, you know, it's. I mean, it cycles. Everything comes in cycles. Like we saw the same thing when the internet hit. Then again, when search engines and the algorithm got better. Then again, you know, now with AI, and then you know, over and over again. So basically, this all leads to you know this era now called you know the answer engine era, or answer engine optimization (AEO). Another way to talk about it would be the agentic engine optimization, because AI, you know, readers or the scrapers, I don't know if scrapers is the right word, but the ingesting bots, et cetera, they're agents, you know, going around reading. And so clicks are dropping because of these agents, and really what AI needs are these trust signals across the board. So if you want an answer, so if you want to be the answer, you have to actually look like the answer. And so you have to write in this format to get cited. But it goes a little bit deeper than this too, you know, especially with that data, et cetera. When we write in this order, we make it easier. But the other things that make it easier for AI as well is to structure that information, not just in the order, but literally in like charts and tables. So having tables of your data is really valuable. Charts, that are written with the right HTML, et cetera, because they're able to be read, but also metadata. Now, this is a little technical here, okay? And I know for some of our listeners, if you're a small business owner, I'm so sorry, but this is so important. And it's annoying that it's this technical piece that is so important. But metadata is like describing, like the basic definition of it is it's information that describes what's on the page. And one of the formats is called Schema, SCHEMA. And what Schema allows you to do is to literally do what I just said, define the content on the page. So you can literally, like if you have a phone number on the page, you can tag it with the Schema tag that says, this is my business phone number. You can tag FAQ questions on a page, that these are FAQ questions, and this is the question, and this is the answer. And what that does is that removes the ambiguity of what the AI and search engine is reading. Am I reading a headline? Am I reading an answer? Am I reading just business information? Is this still part of the article? Is it not? Because if you look at a website, I mean, look, you got the header, the menu, you've got these images all over the place. You've got headers, a sidebar. What's part of the content? What isn't? And if we don't define these things, we add more work for the AI and for search engines to parse the page. And that hurts us, because if the search engine and AI can find a site that has similar content, but is easier to ingest and read, it's going to go that route.
So I'm hearing this and I'm thinking about all the chatter that I'm hearing about how it is becoming a lot easier to be or do your own marketing, right?
Yeah.
And listening to that proves still the opposite, because how else are you going to get all of those pieces? Like, obviously it's becoming more and more vital to be optimized in every facet of your business. So your website, your blogs, any page, right? Your social media, if you're doing video content, any of it. So unless, which I would highly not recommend, you become an expert as a business owner in all of this, because if you do that, then you're a marketer, you're not running your business, right? This is proof that we need marketing experts to like navigate through all of this. Like what you're saying is 100%. Gold, right? Like, yeah. Like nothing's just outright giving this information, because that's not what it's doing. Yeah. Like it's just pulling from those that are already doing this. Gold.
100%. Yeah. Gold. A lot of these platforms, you're right. They make it look like it's easy. They're democratizing, all marketing, I mean, look at what AI is trying to do with accounting. We're trying to democratize it and make it easy, and it's not. And there's still issues, and they're going to be, And so yeah, it's this illusion of easy button. It's the easy button illusion in these platforms because we can do it. But if you don't know about these things, you're not really going to get that further ahead. Now, I will say, it's great that these things exist, because what it allows like us consultants to do and us agencies to do is to give our expertise on those truly expert elements. Client builds a site, great, we come in and now we can improve it, wonderful. So yeah, I don't know, I just feel about it in that way where it's just like, yeah, cool, I can provide so much more value now in a specific way that is in line with my expertise. Like, here's what I've gone down the rabbit hole on, and I know, so I can bring it. But you're right, these platforms are not going to do it for us, and you really do need to become an expert in it to really get the most out of it, which is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's becoming more and more vital as you're outlining through all of these. There's proof, right? These articles are proof. They're doing research, they're doing studies. Like, it's proof that that's what's happening. Yep.
Yeah. So our final, all of this is really pointing toward content, though. Still, like 100%, it's all still content. Like, if we don't have content, we can't be found by AI. We can't be found by search engines. And I thought it was really interesting. This is coming from SEO.com, but quantity is kind of making a comeback. Like, we still need quality, but quantity really matters. And they found in their research that brands producing 12 expert authored pieces monthly see visibility gains of 200 times faster than those producing only 4 pieces monthly.
Holy cats.
I know. What's interesting to me is that it's not linear, it's exponential. So like they're making 3 times as much content, but they're getting visibility 200 times faster. So it's not just 3 times faster, 200 times faster. And it really points to, especially with AI and everything we've talked about so far, is that you can't fake authority. And that AI, with what we said, really rewards evidence-backed content to win. And so you really need to focus on your thought leadership. But volume does matter through all of this. And with AI slop, I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, how do we do it? So I have some tips here too. If you're up for it. This one.
Yeah. I mean, I do think we went through a period, right, where it became very easy to put out a lot of content for certain businesses because they were just relying on AI or people were relying on it to get like a quick win in something that they were not an expert in. And obviously it's reverting backwards to the high authority, the high expert piece is now coming back to the forefront. I am really excited for your tips, and hopefully you touch on this because I'm also curious. Like, when I hear 12 expert pieces a month, that feels like so much. And so I hope you touch on like what that could also mean as you're going through this. So hit us with
No, look, it's a lot. And look, so I don't know, I don't know if the volume literally needs to be 12 a month. I think that so long as we take an intentional route toward content, it will work. All right. The other piece is the amount of content you have. If it's done right, if you have more than your competitors, you will do better. If your competitors have more than you, you've got a real uphill battle. And that doesn't mean don't play it. Don't play this game. Don't work it. It just means that you're going to have to publish a lot more to earn more authority than your competitor. So like there's that piece.
But other be thing, yourself while doing it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's that 100%. I think that's what we're learning through all of this.
Yes.
Is that you have to be yourself. You have to have your own point of view, your own data, your own voice through all of this. I do want to say that a lot of people who start down the content route get discouraged quickly because it's such a long game. to get your full SEO value, and I say SEO because I think AI is still SEO, it's just a different tool that's putting it out there, is it takes anywhere from 12 to 18 months. So when you put out a blog post today, it doesn't really start to hit its stride for about 8 months. And then from there, it still continues to learn until about 18 months down the road. That's, I mean, like, I've known this for a long time, but I'm always just like, oh my God, how many times have we started an initiative for like 4 months, 6 months, and then we get bored because we're not seeing anything, but we haven't even reached the first marker of like, here's where we're first going to start seeing real signal about it. You know, like, so if we go down this content route, what I always tell people is 2 years. You have to go at least 2 years full in. Like when I say full in is the investment has to be continuous and consistent for 2 years to understand it. So before I get into all my tips, it's like that. And I mean, like, isn't that nuts? It's crazy.
I think that's really hard for those of us. I mean, we talked about it in the beginning. We like our instant wins. We like to see results happening. So this is very difficult, which I think is why there's a lot of start and stop when it comes to content with entrepreneurs. Yes.
So let me break it down a little bit, because I think there's a way to look at it that can like compartmentalize and make it look like, oh, we're going to have these like smaller chunks rather than seeing like, oh, I got 2 years of everything. I got smaller chunks. So what AI is looking for, and search engines, is something called authority. And it means exactly what it means. Like, how authoritative is this site compared to others? The way that search engines and AI, et cetera, understand authority is kind of to what I alluded to before, is volume of content, but volume of quality content around the same topic. And so the strategy, you know, that we recommend is, you know, writing or releasing content in something called clusters, to where you'll have like a single pillar post, which will be like 3,000 to 6,000 words. Like, it's super long, but it's, the way I describe it is that it's like a definitive piece around a major topic. Like, you have a major, like, high-end topic, but then it doesn't go super deep into all the subtopics. What do I mean by that? So let's say you've got a article, you're a coffee shop, and you put out an article about home coffee brewing. That's your pillar, home coffee brewing. So it's going to explore a ton of topics about brewing at home. Maybe all the different types of brewing methods, different grinders, water quality, bean selection, milk frothing. I don't know what else. Types of water you can use, etc. And it'll touch on, this pillar article will touch on all of these topics, but not in super depth. So you'll get 3,000 to 6,000 words, but it's not going to be super deep on every topic. You know, you might say, hey, these are like the 5 brewing methods, and we find like this one is the most common at home. It might be something really light like that. Obviously, like a whole section about that, but light, where it doesn't go into the specifics of like drip versus Chemex versus a V60 pour over. See, I know a little bit about coffee here.
I was gonna say,
so it doesn't go, it doesn't go into the crazy specifics, but it touches on the broad elements of brewing methods. So you'll have like 800 words or 1,000 words on brewing methods. So this pillar page is super long, not very deep. Then you have your cluster pages around them. And basically each of those pages answers one question very comprehensively. So where in the pillar article, you'll have brewing methods, very light, it'll then link to your brewing method deeper page, like what's the best home brew method? And it'll go super deep into each of those brewing methods and possibly be a few thousand words as well. You know, 1,200 words, 2,500 words about those brewing methods in much more detail. Flavor differences, coffee texture differences, et cetera, will go very deep. And then what happens is you then link those pages all to each other. So the pillar article links to all the cluster pages. The cluster pages link back up and to each other. And you create this web of authority around coffee brewing and home brewing and all of these methods and other elements. And what that signals to Google is that is that we have thought deeply about this topic. And so that builds your site's authority. And so basically you just do that over and over and over again on different high-level topics, all related to you being a coffee shop. And over time, what that does is that creates this compendium of content, this encyclopedia, as it were, that AI, search engines, etc., look at you like you are the expert because you have gone so deep into these topics that we have to cite you. We have to talk about you.
That's a very, like, I love how you put that, right? Because I think the whole concept, like when I think about this personally, right? Like I have very distinct areas that I am 100% confident in the expertise that I'm bringing to the table. And I don't think it's ever been outlined about like, okay, take your expertise and think about all of the main pillars that drive that, whatever it is that you're doing. So with the coffee brewing, right? And then what supports those pillars? What's all the little pieces? And like, for me, like, I don't think I've ever thought about it that way with like, there's so much in the accounting world, right? And so much that I can advise clients on, but there really are distinct pillars. Like there are distinct pieces that come into play and then supporting pieces that go with it. And so the linking and combining and creating that, like, to me, it sounded like a lot, but when you break it down into, you take your main thing, you get your little pieces with it, and it all just connects, then Google says, oh, you know what you're talking about. And it isn't AI generated. It's your thoughts, your methods, your spin on things.
Yeah. I'm specifically thinking, we talked a lot about reports. Like I'm thinking like there's a whole pillar here that could be like the most important small business financial reports. And that's your pillar post. And like, how many reports are there? I mean, there's tons. I mean, your profit and loss, your balance statement, but there's tons of other reports that you can do, your cash flow reports, etc. And so you literally talk about each of those reports, what they're for, on a very high level, like short. And so you get this 3,000 word article that's like, here's every report a small business could run. But then you link over to individual pages that just go super deep, like the 12 secrets your cash flow statement tells you, and it's just everything you ever wanted to know about a cash flow statement and how to look at it, how to analyze it. And just think about it. If you had 10 different reports you could run, your inventory report, all these other things, your oh my God, I don't even know, your payroll reports, et cetera. There's all these reports that you could run. And now you've got like 20 articles, 12, 10 to 15 articles about all these reports. That's like, oh, this agency, this firm, this website has a handle on what financial reporting is. Mm-hmm. And so just think about all the content in those articles, all the different phrases and topics that you could rank for in all of that. And so, yeah, that's that process. And so really over the course of 2 years, like, yes, this says monthly, but if you worked quarterly, et cetera, the whole idea is that all of these publish at once and you have these runs where you publish a cluster all at once. And just find what your cadence is. Over time, you will build this library of content. There's no reason to overwhelm yourself because it does take 2 years or more to see that full effect. And then the more clusters you have, it compounds, because these clusters may link to each other a little bit and even within each other. So there's this amplification effect, the more content you have, and then as more time goes by. So really interesting in that realm. And this strategy has been around like since SEO has started, like since search engines, like this has been the strategy. It's really that AI has shined a microscope, a magnifying glass on all of this. And it's like, no, we really need this authority now because we need AI to know who to cite and to cite us, et cetera. So it's just kind of brought it back to the surface in a big way.
I think this is also like further proof for the whole methodology of like work on your business, not in your business, right? Because I can guarantee you listeners like are hearing this and saying, where am I going to find the time to dedicate my brain power to writing and doing this content creation? And I think this is where we come back to the standard of like, you shouldn't be doing everything in your business. So then you can be this authority and ultimately make the impact, right? This is all about making impact. And how do you get yourself out there to make the impact that you want to make? And AI has made it both difficult and easy, and now difficult again. And it's great. It's all great.
100%. I mean, it does also, relate to like, when's the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the second best time is now. Right now. I mean, that's entirely it. It's like, yes, had we all started this 20 years ago, everybody would be in a great spot, or we'd all be competing a little bit differently, because if everybody's got it, level playing field again. But the idea is still the same. It's like, yes, you have to plant the seeds. And to my impatience at the beginning of the show, how well does that relate to all of this? Is like, no, I just have to work on this. I have to know that the result comes way later down the line, and that I am planting seeds for my future self. And so I have to work on the business. So yeah.
Great insights.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am looking forward to this whole future, with AI and stuff. I think it is pretty neat. I'll say I'm having fun with it, but I think that's a wrap on today's conversation. Man, I hope there was some good stuff in there for everybody. But that brings us into our What the Biz moment. Are you going this week or am I?
Do you have one handy? Otherwise,
I have one. I think I'm going to reuse something, but it's because I'm griping about this really hard.
Oh boy.
Okay. Have I told you about my TikTok issue? I don't remember if I brought this up before. My TikTok issue.
Yeah, I don't know if you.
I don't know if it was on a podcast.
Yeah,
but maybe this will be an ongoing segment. The hell that is TikTok support. Okay, I have 3. No, let me say I'm having a weird thing happen when I try to log into TikTok on a computer. I think I have talked about this on an episode. I'm now remembering, but this is ongoing. So this is an ongoing saga. So just to recap everything, when I log in on a computer, I immediately get a maximum attempts tried. I get blocked out. And now I have 3 suspended accounts, but only on desktop. I can log into the accounts on mobile, but I cannot log into the accounts on desktop.
Oh.
And so I have been talking with support. Well, let me preface. I can log into 2 accounts on mobile. There's another 3 accounts I cannot log into, period. And what happened was I created the accounts. There was an immediate error. I never got like the welcome email. I never got anything. I've never logged into these accounts. I've never used them. Nothing's been uploaded. So I don't even remember the username, like my handle. I don't remember the handles for these accounts at all, because you only put them in once. And when you log in, you don't always use the handle to log in either. You use your email or phone number to log in. So it's like, okay, great. Support has been asking me for my username, like on a loop. It's like, I tell them I don't have my username. I have the email address associated with the account. And they say, oh, please supply us with the username and we can move forward. Guys, I don't have the username because the system errored. I only have an email address. Oh, hey, we know that this is important to you. Can you share us the username? And I'm like on repeat. I swear it's a bot, and I wanna shake them. I wanna burn them to the ground. I mean, not in like a literal sense, but it's just like, what is going on? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't get a real person. I'm not logged in, so I don't get the same support as someone who's logged in, and I don't know how to get through it. I've been like, when I get through it, I will let you know. But I'm going to gripe about this, I think, week after week on the podcast until I figure out, because it is the worst support I've ever had on any platform. And let me tell you, Meta Facebook support was pretty bad for a really long time.
Yeah.
And so what they tell me is like, oh, it looks like you've reached your maximum number of logins. You should wait 24 hours, then log in again. I'm like, guys, this has been going on for months. I've waited for a whole week. And then the first time I try to log in, it immediately blocks me. What is going on? And they're like, oh, share us the username. And I'm like, guys, we've got 10 other conversations above where I've already told you I don't have it. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
It's like they're hiring a brand new person and they're not able to see the history of our support thread. And it's just some like formulaic like email. And I don't know what to do. I've given them screenshot proofs. Oh man, I'm like ranting. My blood pressure is horrible right now is what it is. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. But this is my what the biz moment, is just like, guys, when thinking about your support, like I get like there's all of these, I think to my point, what I'm trying to get at is there's all of these support tickets that are like menial and tiny. And it's really easy to be like, oh, it looks like you have this issue. Have you tried this? I just think like we can ask a question or two, and we can, even if we're using AI chatbots for support, we can ask for a couple more questions about the issue to identify whether it really is that piece. And if we've been going back and forth for like weeks, literally, it's been a week that I've been going back and forth with them on multiple different threads for multiple different accounts. The AI, the system, somebody has got to figure out this isn't the simple thing that we're telling this person it is. We can't gaslight our customers is really where I'm at here. It's just like there are unique circumstances, and our customers want to feel seen. They want to feel heard, you know? Yeah. And when we just do things as forms and we make things super simple, we remove that personal touch that made them a fan and a customer to begin with. And so that's great to simplify stuff. I think there just has to be intentionality behind it. And I don't think TikTok is doing it. And they're missing out on thousands of dollars of advertising spend, you know? And I get that it's a drop in the bucket, but that's still thousands of dollars. That's somebody's job and livelihood they're missing out on, because that's what my clients want to do. That's what I want to do with some of these other businesses, is advertise, and I can't. So it's been frustrating, but also it's really just made me think internally how we do things and how I'm going to talk with my clients about some of this stuff, because we're now rolling AI out for our clients on support and things. So it's yeah.
Well, and you can't be the only one that is experiencing this. Like, guaranteed in the masses that are using TikTok. And I'm guessing that the platform, like once you've used an email, like it's going to say you've already used this email. So it's not like you can just go create another 100%. Username. So you're just stuck in this cycle. Yeah.
Yep. These emails are all dead. I can't use them to create accounts. And what I'm worried about is when I create a new account, it's going to get flagged as well for some reason. Like there's something going on. Now, look, I've cleared my cat. I mean, I've done all the basic stuff. I was in IT for 7 years. I've taken care of all the basic stuff.
And that's not the problem.
And it's not the problem, right? Yeah. I've used different browsers. It's I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
So be intentional about your support, even when you're simplifying things, because your customers notice and then they don't want to work with you. You know?
They get frustrated.
And they'll tell everyone about it. Like right now, I'm telling everyone about it right now. So think about when you have one of those instances where you think a customer's having a certain issue, but they feel they're not. That disconnect is causing this kind of conversation about your brand. And that's not what we want. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. Cool.
Frustrating, but good takeaway.
Totally. So let's wrap on another episode. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Look, time. It's in short supply, so thank you for spending it here with us. And if you got something awesome, an insight, a value out of this episode, leave us a review. You know, Apple Podcast, Spotify, we'd love it. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave us a comment down there. Yeah, we're on YouTube, so subscribe. Those are the best ways to help other business owners find us and get the same value. But if you've got a hurdle, maybe a topic you want us to explore, head over to whatthebiz.com and let us know about it, because we love exploring other ideas and helping you directly with what you have going on. And we just make a whole episode out of it. But until then, keep building, stay proactive, and we'll see you on the next one.